think you can see my presentation now. My name is Κατερίνα Ποσειδών. I have been working at Voltalia, the central team of Voltalia, and I'm working on the strategy of the company in Europe. Before that, I have been working in London as an analyst. For those who are not acquainted with our company, Voltalia is an Italian company that is dealt at the stock exchange with a value of more than 2 billion euros, a presence of in more than 21 countries worldwide, including Greece, where Voltalia is present since 2007. Voltalia has a considerable portfolio of solar panels, including 2.8 gigawatts, more than 2.8 gigawatts under development in mainland Greece, 20 megawatts constructed and assets in operation, 85 megawatts in O&M, and 36 megawatts in sales. All in all, we have built 1.8 megawatts and manages more than almost rather 2.5 megawatts. Especially we specialize especially in solar panels, but operate in all and have presence in all renewable energy resources. And now we also are active in the area of storage, and we have begun the construction of the first standalone project. So given our experience from the Greek market, we would like to share with you our observations and our proposals on how the Greek market could develop. I would like to say a few things about the beginning of this market and the progress of this market, and my colleague will go more in depth regarding the marketing part. So, as you can see here, in Great Britain, the United Kingdom has been one of the first players in Europe together with Germany. In 2017, the United Kingdom installed 2010 megawatts, and today it has reached approximately 1.5 gigawatts, and we have another 400 gigawatts under construction. The interest from investors increases constantly, and they have approximately 13 gigawatts of a storage capability. But how did we arrive at these results? The most important characteristic is that there have been a lot of emphasis in support technologies, which of course is obvious because such solutions are required. We in the United Kingdom have seen a very sharp decrease of power production from carbon power production, and a sharp increase of energy production, especially electricity, from other sources, including renewable energy resources. I think that I should note that in 2005 we had only 1%, whereas now we have more than 30%. What is required, of course, is flexibility. But we have to take into consideration that relevant contracts are not unlimited. There is a limited number of contracts, a specific number of contracts. Now, at first, the batteries were linked to rather long-term contracts since they could correspond to the requirements of the regulating authority. For example, they included a revenue stacking model whose characteristic were the existence of a balancing mechanism and other characteristics. These tools created the capability of sustainability for these projects and created an environment that actually positively boosted the onset of the market. But also the regulatory framework since 2018 was very important to unlock the market in the United Kingdom. This, as you understand, is very important because it reduced the existing hurdles. Due to this environment, we see that right now long-term contracts are not the main source of income. Income and profits come from shorter-lived products. The managing and regulatory authority is quite flexible, is still quite flexible, because in that way it can balance the operation of the system and at the same time give more opportunity to the operators, to the providers. An example is the dynamic containment tool, which was presented a year ago. It is one of the tools for a very high frequency response, which of course actually creates an environment where opportunities are linked to higher risk. And for those who have been used to long-term contracts and have no experience in dispatchable assets, is difficult. So some producers have difficulty in getting used to that. Now, regarding batteries, they might not be a stable source of income, but they are an investment which allow for higher profits. And let us not forget that the more the use of energy resources increases, the more the opportunity for profit will increase. As you might have read, 2 years ago in the United Kingdom, a number of records have been exceeded. Such as example, we have seen prices go over the record limit of £2,000. And here, in this respect, batteries play an important role. I would like to stop here saying that the flexible energy products and a discerning and effectively applied energy policy will allow the technology of batteries to exploit the particularly ambitious targets set by our country. Thank you very much.
It was a very interesting presentation. Just to ask a little bit to be more on time, we need to shorten the presentation a bit. Hello from me as well, Mr. Panagoulis, my fellow panelists here. I came into the Voltalia group recently, just a month ago. I was abroad in Europe and in England and in Latin America. I work in Voltalia as an IB director and leader, and storage leader. So I will speak a little bit more on the commercial side. We mentioned this rapid drop in the cost of batteries, which is a very important topic. In this graph, you see that starting from 2010 and 2018, moving forwards, there was a vertical drop in the pricing. As of 2018 and until 2040, this drop will continue. But what is the main factor here in this defining this change in the price? It's price and volume. According to Bloomberg, every time the cumulative capacity volume doubles, there is an 18% drop. What does that mean? It means that until 2024, we will see a drop in the battery price to 67.5 pounds per kilowatt hour. In 2030, it's going to be 32.5 pounds. And then it will even drop even further, which means that in the next 10 years, the price will drop to more than half. So these are very nice and impressive figures, but we need to be a little bit more concrete here. What does that mean? It means what it means for investors and for manufacturers. If we take a case study for a project in England, something that was produced, that was built in 2020, the cost of that particular project, outside of the cost of the grid, was approximately 11 million pounds. This total cost, the cost that had to do with the supply of the batteries and all the auxiliary equipment, was about 4.5 million pounds. That means that the rate, the percentage of the cost for the supply of the batteries and the entire cost of the project was approximately 41%. That's a very important note here, is that we're talking about a project that has that is an expert project. And we see here in Greece many investors proceeding with applications for 2-hour exports or even 4-hour exports. But we are in a process when we are still trying to figure things out in Greece. So this percentage that you see in this project, the 41%, will skyrocket if we actually, according to the regulatory framework, we need to go to a model of 2-hour export. So in any case, we see that in 2025, this percentage will go to 31%, and in 2030, it will go to 22%, a further drop. That's food for thought for investors and manufacturers. So what does that mean for the UK, for England? We see that until 2018, we had an average a number of 17 gigawatt hours or 9 gigawatt installed on the worldwide, and up to 2040, that will be more than 1,000 gigawatts, or 2,750 gigawatt hours. That's an exponential rise. And Great Britain continues to lead this market. It's one of the 3 large powers in Europe, along with Germany and France, the greatest players in Europe. And it's very clear, and we see it in our graph as well, the UK will continue to have a great share in the European market. This player will be 25% will have 25% of the installed power for such projects in Europe, excuse me. And even more, the forecast is that this will be 35% in the next years. And that is because they do have, in the UK, a very strong and established regulatory framework. This is all I had to say. I think we don't have a lot of time, so I will cut my presentation a little bit short.